real estate, functionality, fishability, and offshore performance. Those are the words that come to mind after I've had an opportunity to test this boat this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Riviera 58 Sports Motor Yacht, a brand new model for Riv, and we're the first ones who get to try it. Let's get cracking. So settle in, guys. This is probably going to be a bit of a long and detailed tour. I have a tendency to talk a lot, but I'm going to try and predict and answer as many of your questions as possible. If you do have any questions, they're all good questions. Just pop them in the comments. I'll endeavour to get back to you, and if I don't know the answer, I'll ask Riv. So please go ahead and do that. And I want you to jump in the comments and at the end of this video, count how many fridges and freezers we have on this thing. I think there's more fridges than you would have friends. It really is that many. Whoever's the first person to do that correctly, I'll send you a hat. So out here on the back platform, tender deployment is done from where I'm standing right here. This is a hydraulic drop down, but it also has the ability to lift up. So when you're in a seaway and you want to protect the tender, you can do so, but you can also back down on fish if that's important to you. You attach the tender in these stainless steel locations here and here. We've got the safety rails on port and starboard on this one, and they will remove and then stow just up here when not in use. There is a safety ladder which is deployed on the port side in case you went in the drink and forgot to lower the platform. So accessing the cockpit through these beautiful thick doors on both port and starboard. So if you've got a port finger or a starboard finger at your marina dock, that's okay, because obviously the tender's going to take up a little bit of room. It's going to make life a lot easier for you, and that's a good grab handle for getting on from the dock. So I would leave that actually in place on the side of the marina that you are. Now just get a load of how much space we have here. It's immense, it's impressive, and because we have the thick gunnels, it's also a great place to sit. So I know many of you have already owned Rivs before if you're looking at one of these, so you can already appreciate that, but if you're looking from outside of Australia, this really is a wonderful social space. We've got multiple storage lazarettes underneath us, so places for ropes, for fenders, for boat stuff. You could put toys, but there's actually a better location for that, which we're going to get to in a sec, because there is an optional crew cabin, but I think most of you are going to take the utility room, which is aft of the master. We've got 3 beautiful cabins, 3 toilets, 3 separate showers, but that utility room is a great place to put some toys. So we'll be looking at that when we get there. Live bait just in here. We've got a shower, just pops out from there. More lockers for ropes as well. Enough storage in there. Shore power can go in one of these ones, and some more ropes on either side. Fridge, decent one, huge amount of insulation, and you can get probably a case and a half worth of beers there. Ice maker, just in here, full of ice. Beautiful Corian top just here. It's going to work well as a cutting board. Wing station, here on starboard. There you go. And we have the Volvo DPS. If you are interested in how this boat drives, we have done that. That's a separate video to this. I'm going to link to that at the end of this video. It's very comfortable, put it that way. So, a proper barbie. This is double the amount of cooking space that you would find on most boats that I tour on my channel. So we've got this grated finish here and a flat plate here. So your bacon and eggs here, and you're probably going to do your snags and your steaks here, and that's going to cater to quite a few people. Don't know what that is. Looks like a chute that could maybe use as a rubbish chute. You've got a couple of drink holders there, hot and cold tap there. Notice the huge amount of stainless steel, so for heat protection if you want to close it. And then we've got lights illuminating straight down on the cooking surface should you need. We've got storage in here, and I think we'll actually go up the port side. Rod holders dotted around, and we are standing under a beautiful bimini, aft bimini just here, but there is an extra shade where this particular owner has added to this boat to give even more protection, so that is possible. But the rain and sun protection ends just here with that setup, so if you're working at the barbie or if you're preparing some drinks, you're not going to be getting wet. So just pay attention to that. So we go up a few stairs. We're going to go around the bow because there's some big clouds coming and I want to get this done before the rain comes. And courtesy lights illuminating the stairs so you're not going to catch yourself. Stainless steel grates which catch any of the rainwater which come down the side of the boat, so it's unlikely to make its way into the cockpit. Midships cleats aft, and come and have a look at this. We've even got a fuel gauge for your diesel tank. Isn't that cool? We've got breathers above there. We've got 2 tanks, I'd say, on this one, and side opening door just here. So that gets us into the saloon. Another, what are we looking at here? That is water or waste. Waste. So that's waste for one of the heads. We got multiple heads on this boat. Another cleat just here. And then we're getting to the bow, which has got multiple functions, but I'll just quickly show you some of the storage. So from a functionality point of view, at the beginning of the day, you have covers on these lounge seats forward, and then you basically only have to remove the covers on the seats up on the Flybridge, and then it's just internal blind. So it doesn't take a lot of time to set this boat up to get ready to go for the day. We've got an esky that's not electrified, so that doesn't count on our fridge checklist, just there. And we've got some more of this artificial teak just here on just once again, feel this space. I know we saw this on the SUV, but it really is very impressive, because remember, once upon a time this was just a flat deck on a boat like this, but now it's multifunctional. Now we have the ability to store a tender up here, so this actually would allow for the space for an outboard should you need be. You can have a crane. I'd say you'd most likely mount the crane on starboard, and then the tender would sit in chocks here centrally, because on the port side here, while this looks like a little lounging seat right now, it also doubles up as a full sunbed because it's got supports which just fold out from there. So lots of stuff going on. We've got a little drink holders and a little coffee table just here. We've got courtesy lights all around, so you can once again illuminate the floor without ruining your night vision. We've got a Riviera mesh sunshade which protects this whole area. So just imagine the sun's high up in the sky and you want to come out, enjoy the weather but not burn your face off and perhaps read a book. This is going to be a really nice place to do it because you'll catch a lot of the air, so it'll be enjoyable. A couple of forward-facing hatches going down below, but now I want to focus on the anchor setup because we've got some great design elements going on just here. First thing, look at the dam that they have created around the windlass. So when you're coming up with lots of mud and muck, you can actually hose this out and it's going to stay retained in this area rather than spilling over and making its way aft. That's where your saltwater and freshwater washdown are located. You can also operate the mule windlass from here, and you've got the winch handle to adjust the clutch when necessary. So that's all neatly located. But on the starboard side, we actually have access to the chain locker, but really decent fender storage. So I've got 4 fenders in there at the moment. As you can see, I can just attach all the lines there so I don't have to go reaching deep down inside. And just pay attention to the finish on the inside of all these hatches. That is a theme we're going to see right throughout this boat, and you will see that on every Riviera. The other thing worth noting, the design of this bow, I'll cut to some drone shots for this now, because it protrudes out to a sensible distance. When the anchor is lowering, if you are in a wave zone, say on Sydney Harbour getting affected by the ferries, the anchor might be swinging around a little bit, but it doesn't matter. It's not going to hit your bow because it's been designed with that in mind. This really is an anchor that you can deploy from up the top there. You just got to make sure you undo the safety here before you go for a deployment. And it's quite a simple process. I don't even think you need to go installing cameras up here. You can if you wish, but it's not necessary because the design is inherently very practical already. I like seeing 3 cleats all the way around. Obviously we've got the fair leads here for the mooring lines, and this stainless if you've seen my factory tour, you'll know how they get this so good. They just polish the hell out of it. That's why all this railing, this stainless, these cleats, that's why it doesn't rust. So, you know, you get on a Riv that's 10 years old and you don't see the surface rust that you see on so many other boats that come out of Europe, which I have seen for many, many years, because they've gone down finer and finer and finer grit sandpaper. I guess it, you know, it's just to prepare the surface to a polished, highly polished level. Okay, so making our way down the starboard side, we've got cover storage. So sunshade and cover storage on port and starboard, not essentially meaning you don't need to leave the bow when you're preparing this part of the boat. So rip the covers off you go, and then you can also deploy the sunshade as well from up here. Cleats again, the railing is at my hips, and then I can also hold on here. So this boat will rock a little bit more than the SUV. Our center of gravity is higher, but the stabilizers are awesome. Check that out in the test drive. You can actually see on the forward-facing camera and the drone shots how much or how little roll that this boat has when we have the stabilization activated. So just treat this as a handhold. If you're a bit dodgy on your feet, you got the step there. So when you're at this point, now it's like above your waist. So you do feel quite safe and secure. And again, you've always got something to grab onto. So come on aft and let's make our way inside the boat. So there's some cool stuff going on. Again, when you step down here, plenty of protection. And then you've actually got a stainless steel grab hold hidden. Well, it's kind of integral part of the aft bimini, but it's a good place to hold on to until you make your way to about this part of the boat. So come on and let's check out. So we're calling it the Alfresco dining area. You do kind of get welcomed up into this. It's quite elegant. I think you go up these stairs and you're into your own balcony, your own private space up here. Just come and soak this up. So if you've seen the SUV video, you had hatches, roof hatches up here, but we obviously don't have that because there's another floor up there. So there's a whole, you know, extra amount of real estate to be utilized. But other than that, a lot of this layout is quite similar to what we saw on the SUV. So this is a really awesome table because you can have this glass opened and the door slid open and just utilize the protection from the bugs with the screens. And of an afternoon, if the sun's low, you're also going to get a lot of sun protection too. But look at the design just here. So it's allowing light to penetrate through, but people can't see in. So it gives you that nice feeling, but it's also very, very private. So this table does fold. Let me just show you. It's beautifully done. There's probably 9 coats of varnish on this, and we've got 6 drink holders, and you could probably put a big bottle in the middle there, and that also doubles as a grab handle. And you can also see this little stool, which probably makes sense if someone wanted to sit here and join a meal. That makes a lot of sense too. Fusion just here. That's the fridge controls just there. You got your other mezzanine light controls just here. And then on the port side, this actually is another one of those neat fold out beds. So if you want to have access to another sleeping area which is private and not so exposed like the bow lounge, this is the perfect place. And if you pad this up with cushions, you're going to be enjoying that view, which is awesome. TV up here, speakers, leather finish overhead. We've got a grab handle. I can't reach it though. So it's great for you big blokes. I actually can't reach that, but that's why they've got this one here for me, just for me. Thanks guys. Anyway, this is also access into the engine room. We're not going to go through this because we've got amazing access down below, which we'll get to later in the video. I would find this hatch a great one to be opening to ventilate the engine room. If it was hot and you had to go down there and do something, that's what I would do in that case. So come on inside. Now, here we have, let's turn some lights on. Here we have, I'm not sure if I'm doing all the right buttons. quite a few more fridges, so you're going to have to get counting. If you fancy cooking on board a boat, you are going to fancy a Riv. I just want to open this for you so you can get a feel. It's just manual with a gas strut, and then it locks off on that location just there. But just look how nice that is when that's open. I think it really changes the space. And like all Rivieras, the stainless steel is incredible, really strong. Insulation's fantastic. You probably already know that because you probably had one of these. But let's get into the fridges. If you haven't been on a Riv before, they design the galleys with long-term cruising in mind. They're not so much focused on people who just go out for a day or two. They're very much focused on long-term cruising. So, full-size fridge, and I like how they've actually named everything. Freezer. Pay attention to all these stoppers here. So when we're in a seaway, nothing's going to open on us. Another freezer. That one's got a temperature gauge on it. Fridge. Wine cooler. That's fancy. I don't get the... Do these just do a lower temperature or something? I'm not actually sure. I'm not that fancy. So someone pop into the comments below and explain that to me. U-shaped galley on the starboard side. So now obviously we're doing this because on the port side, we've got access up to the Flybridge, which we're going to get to a little bit later. But you've got a really deep amount of workspace here. You have this glass backsplash here, which is going to protect the upholstery. So they've thought about all of this. We've got two sinks just here. We've got a purified PureTech, that's called. So that's for drinking water, no doubt. But this will flip over and you've got a cutting board on it just there. I think you do it the other way around, but you get the idea. And this one is just the smallest sink just there. Does that pull? Oh, look, does that? That's cool. Handy for washing up. Yeah, but you shouldn't need to wash up because you got a dishwasher. Huh? How cool is that? So also the rubbish is a proper sized rubbish bin, and it's even got a drain at the bottom so you could hose the thing out. So someone's thought about it once again. Very clever. So over here we've got the Smeg oven. Can't tell you much about that, I don't really know. And we've got a Smeg induction, and it's a multi-zone. So I think that's a 3-burner, because just by looking at the lines, but I'm not too sure. It looks like you got one big burner here and 2 small burners, and then we've got the fiddle so we can control it in a seaway, so that's sensible. Decent amount of storage for all our glassware. Pay attention, all Rivieras come with branded cutlery, coffee cups, all that sort of stuff. It already comes with the Riviera logo, ready to rock and roll. Now, I shouldn't open everything, but we've got a decent amount of drawers, a quite deep storage, so you can just put all the pots and pans and cooking devices that you need. You could put coffee machines up here as well, because you have 4 power points. That's 240 or 110 volt, depending on where you're looking at in the world. We've got air conditioning control here. That's the cooktop isolator. And this is the sea zone, so it makes life really simple. When you get on the boat for the day, you literally just press cruising. So if you're going cruising, you press cruising, it switches everything on that you're going to need for the day, and then you can also put it on night mode and other modes, which it just does all the switching for you. So it's very, very user-friendly and quite simple. A whole bunch of drawers just there with a deep one at the bottom, and then we also have another wine storage just in here. So we've got the generator running, guys, and we have the AC pumping. It's the middle of summer here in Queensland, so it is 30 degrees outside. But we'll just focus on this area, make our way around here, and then we'll go downstairs. This time, I can grab the grab handles here in the saloon. Me at 5'7", there's quite a lot of headroom. So you got even more out on the Alfresco area because you step down, but in here, headroom is still quite impressive. We got a pop-up charger. Ooh, James Bond. just there if you want it. So this makes sense for charging laptops and other electrical devices, and I would probably store some of them just in here should you need. But you know, everyone can bring their computers and lay them out here essentially and put them on charge. And then we've got more glassware storage up here. These are slightly shallower lockers just here. And as you can see, it just continues. So that's all very, very nicely done. But now I think we need to focus our attention on this seating because it's beautifully comfortable. Boat manuals can be stored here. We got this super neat little footstool, which doubles as game storage in here, and coffee table set up like that, or serving. Huh? Don't you like that? I love when designers put multifunctional, multiple uses into pieces of furniture. I just think it's very clever. The seats themselves are the number of table settings if that's necessary. So I think that's really, really cool. A little bit of storage, and we have another footstool just there, which is also for the same purpose of increasing the amount of people sitting around the table. I better just quickly show you. That's where you've got access to your entertainment, just in here. So I think that covers everything. The blinds dropping down all the way around is all you have to do to get this boat started for the day. I think from here, let's go through the accommodation and then we'll start making our way upstairs. So come on down these stairs. You've got grip at the end of each step and a grab handle on the port side. Here is where the Riviera attention to detail is going to stand out, guys. It's going to be in the sound and the insulation. So just, we do have wind, we got a few waves outside, we've got the generator running, we've got the AC going, but what do you hear? It really is a nice environment, is the point I'm trying to get across to you, because I've seen it in the factory now, they do put and consider every bulkhead, every floor. They're considering the thickness of the foam in the actual construction of the boat, and they're also considering all of these different materials for sound deadening and insulation, and not every manufacturer is doing that, and they're thinking about the sound carrying from one cabin to another, so your experience on board is just going to be more pleasant. We are on this hard-wearing carpet, which is quite soft underfoot, and we are now in the VIP. So this is the VIP. We've got beautiful windows on port and starboard, so you do have a bit of a view out across, and we have these lockers which all stay up, 1, 2, 3 on each side. So you can, again, if you're having a bit of an extended time out on the water, you can do, you know, all your shorts and your t-shirts and your linen stuff, boom, 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 1, 2, 3, towels, that sort of thing. These were the 2 opening hatches that we passed up on the foredeck. So they are escape hatches, but also ventilation. We've got lights accessible from the bed head, so you don't have to jump out of bed to turn the lights off. And then we've got air conditioning in this cabin, in every cabin as you'd expect on a Riv. And over here on port, that's the shelving, just there. And then we have hanging on starboard, which I'll get to in a second, because underneath this bed, we have all these deep drawers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, great place for beach towels. I would have thought sort of beach towels, bedding is going to work in there. And because it's an island bed, you're not rolling over your partner to get out of bed. So that sort of works well just there. And they've camouflaged the flat screen TV with this black surface. And I think there's actually speakers behind here when you touch. So I reckon that's going to be super high quality sound just there. And it's going to work well. It's going to feel like your own sort of studio actually, with the amount of insulation that's going on in here. So we do actually have another window. I think I'm doing that properly. Okay, I won't play with it. It's a privately owned boat. But there is a window out there. We've got shallow storage in here, toothbrush holders as well, and power in there for your shavers and your hair dryers and all that sort of thing. Maybe just pass me the camera and I'll show you guys the separate stand-up shower. It's got a tiled floor just there, really high quality fixtures and fittings. That's just the standard with everything on these Rivs. And you see we've got the towel rack just there and air conditioning just up there. So none of these cabins are without air conditioning. Storage in here as well, so that's good for your cleaning gear and toilet rolls. And on both sides, we have 240 or 110 and two 12 volts. So you can place electric items just up on these ledges and charge them. So let's get moving. I'll actually go and show you this locker here. Okay, so decent amount of hanging, and you can put shoes just down there. And then let's move. Before we do, I want you to see that this door has been made flush because there is actually an indent in the design. Just good thinking, clever. Thickness, good insulation. I think what we'll do, we'll go to the guest cabin on the port side. We've got access into the bilge, and there's tankage underneath us just there. And so this is not a kiddie's cabin. Adults would be quite comfortable in here. There's a decent amount of space. We've got beautiful views through these windows. Obviously they open. They've also got the sensors to tell you up the bridge if they're open. Definitely want to make sure that's closed before you get underway. 1, 2, 3 opening just here. And because it's really what I was referring to, it's good for adults, the beds come together, is the point I was trying to make. So you've got a little spot in the middle of the beds with a drawer to store things. But if you press this button here, can you see that? So you do away with the little centrally located area there, but you gain one just over there. Can you see that? So now you're not sacrificing whatsoever. I think that's very nice. It's totally quiet. You can't hear the motors going at all. You still have your reading lights at the bed head just there, and you could sit up in that bed. Air conditioning control in here as well. So that's all pretty cool. More access into the bilge. Let's make our way to the day head. So that cabin, it doesn't have its own private toilet. You are essentially stepping across the hallway here into the day head, which it does have a proper stand-up separate shower. I'm going to go in this one for give you guys perspective. So this is me. I've got heaps of space, so I can swing around in here. So if you've got big wide shoulders, you're going to be comfortable in here. I've got plenty of headroom. I've got ventilation just here. I've got an air conditioning vent there, so pumping air in, extracting air out. I've got the fixed shower thingamajiggy, but it looks like a nice shower head there. And I've got this design in here to hold all my shampoos and then let water drain out there. And I've got a little footstep just there if you need to cut your toenails, I guess. That's what that's for. Is that the official use? It's the toenail cutter. Nice little basin here. Got some storage behind, similar to what we saw in the other one. Towel rack. That's a double towel rack just there. So good for operational perspective for all your guests. One towel, two towel, another hook just there. So very nicely done. Let's make our way into the master cabin. So you've got a door here. All of these doors are held with magnets. So you just boom, boom. That's how they all hold themselves open. And you come down some stairs. So we're going from the high traffic area is timber, but in the cabins themselves, we're into the carpet. This is a really amazing space. We've got our own little coffee area. We've got our private head and shower just here on starboard. So let's just have a look at that first. So you come through the door, down one step, and you got your own beautiful private area. Long big window there as well. I guess you would want that closed for privacy most of the time. Lots of extra storage, a lot more storage in this one, behind the glass and behind the timber, and a very big shower on the marble or Korean look, I'm not exactly sure. But then we have our own little coffee bar. So drawers in here, space for coffee cups. This is for one of those Nespresso machines. You just plug it in there and you got a little light here to come and make your own coffee in the morning. Another fridge. So that's just lovely. And then this space is really cool. Just soak this up. So once again, genset running. We're getting closer to the genset. Can you hear it? Just pay attention. So this lounge, very nice place to be. It's got an angled backrest just there, so it's probably designed for doing this. It's quite long, so huge tall people could sit out here and have a little nap or asleep in the day. And this is padded as well, so that's quite comfortable, a good place to rest your arms. And then we've got 1, 2, 3 drawers here and leather finish here, so you can put your valuables there at the end of the day and then just put things away. We've also got a couple of drawers at the side of the bed, more charging, multiple 12 volts and 240s, reading lights, and all of this is thick insulated foam, just letting you know. So that's quite soft, it feels quite bougie, but it's insulation as well. They've done a similar thing to what we saw in the VIP, but we have a bigger flat screen TV now, camouflaged with this black, and there's speakers here as well. Definitely high quality speakers here. This owner must have installed these fans. I've seen them on yachts. They're really good. They don't make too much noise. And then I've got more bilge access below me here, but this is just one of the solutions. So come back here and look aft for storing all your equipment, because we essentially have a walk-in wardrobe, which we're going to get to in a second, but 1, 2, 3 opening here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 just here. So if you're like this owner, which most people are, you make your bed and you have all these nice cushions, you got somewhere to put them. So I'd put them over here, and then you've got lots and lots of storage for other bits and pieces, opening ports on both sides, but you have a proper walk-in wardrobe, stand-up mirror just here, and hanging on both sides. So that's really, really nice. It's also got a blind, so if you were using this as a changing room, you can pull that blind down and you have some privacy. And even these hanging rods have lights built into them. Just the details, guys, it's just hard to convey it all in words. So hopefully this is coming across to you. So more bilge access underneath my foot there. That's a full stand-up mirror there. This was the utility room. It can also be a crew area. So the reason why it would work well as a crew area is the crew would have their own external access. They don't have to come through your cabin. And check out what this owner's done. It's got the flight board just here. Remember how I was talking about toy storage? What a cool thing to do. Just imagine yourself, finding a remote location, get the tender in the water, get the flight boards out on the back deck. Happy days. This is an air-conditioned area. So we've got washer, dryer, huge big storage locker just here, and a workbench here. This is Korean, but big storage on both sides here as well. More storage back here, and then even a big ledge behind here so you could put things. It's a full-on proper laundry. So I think for many of you standing on this practical flooring with some grip as well, this is going to be optimal for many. I think many Americans and many Aussies are going to prefer this. Maybe some of you guys in Europe, who I do know like to operate with crew, would perhaps want to do it the other way around. So let's head through here and we'll go into the engine room. We'll leave that gen set on so you can have a listen. Come on in. So, I want you to pay attention to the first thing. I'm standing up. I've got full walk around headroom. I'm 5'7". There's even a little bit of space above my head. Anyone taller than me, yes, you need to think about that. This is the exit if you had the crew access. They could go through this door here, and that's one solution for you. But we got the Volvo 1350, they're 1,000 horsepower, IPS on either side. They're going through a jack shaft, and the IPS unit is a little bit aft, and you can see fuel tankage in 2 tanks on either side. There might be a 3rd tank on this one. I'll have to check the specs on that. That makes a lot of sense if there is, because 4,500 litres in total. So we've got the genset on starboard, we've got the refrigeration just up there, more refrigeration going on here. That looks like a stabilizers just in there. We've got fuel filters up on the bulkhead, power distribution, huge, ginormous fireboy system over here on the port side. Boom, boom. That's another view of the Humphrey active fin stabilization. This is all your main battery switches here, which you don't need to worry about because the C-Zone will do that, but that is actually all the physical switching just there. More refrigeration. This is engine room ventilation fans just here, so they'll be running when the engines are running. And the raw water pickups are these big ones just here. They're for the motor. The genset pickup is actually in the same location on starboard. And then looking aft, we've got more tankage. And you can actually see my bags, some more fender storage, which you don't necessarily have to use. We just use that today because it was convenient for us. And just look all the way back and get a view of the IPS drives themselves and the exhaust outlets. It's such a quiet, refined experience. And if you just get the camera back here and have a look at this insulation, guys, and that is part of the reason why it is so quiet. Finally, we do have sight gauges. I know a lot of you are interested in that. All of the fuel tanks have, hopefully you can see that now, proper sight gauges. And everything is labeled. Everywhere you go around this engine room, they have put labels. So if you don't know what it is, they've actually got that sorted for you. Come on, let's go upstairs and have a look at the Flybridge. So you feel quite secure. This has got grippiness on the steps and you've got plenty of places to hang on. So if you are in a seaway, it's not a problem. You've got this stainless steel surround, so no sharp edges. That's been finished off really well. I just don't think you're going to risk cutting yourself anywhere on this. But look at these panels just here. That looks like an access panel for some service task. It's not. This is actually facilitates closing off the Flybridge. So just have a look at this. I'll leave it closed. That has a little flip just there. So there you go. So if you're in a seaway and you're worried about people falling down there, worry no more. Grab handles all the way around, and then lockers with fire extinguisher in there, light switches, leather finishes. But let's head straight forward because I know you're going to be interested in the helm, which is what we'll focus on first, and then we'll check out what is quite an impressive setup here. There's actually a bed. This is what I was trying to lead to. It's pretty impressive. So the driving experience is exquisite. I'm going to put that down to the ergonomics of this helm. The hull's fantastic. The stabilization is great, but the ergonomics of this helm are just top notch. So if you just want to sit down and relax for long periods of time, see the footrest that I just deployed, you can do that. There's 3 buttons just here accessible with my right hand, which allow me to push this seat forward and aft. There you go. I'm going back now. I can go up and down, and I can also do the backrest. So you got full control. You go leather and then suede in here. So you're not going to get your sweaty backs on long drives, and you've got air conditioning pumping right at you and all the way around. It really is that comfortable. The design of the roof has a particular amount of overhang that stops the high hot sun from penetrating on the glass. So that seems logical. And I got another double extra footrest just here when I'm trying to get myself off the seat and assume the standing position. So it's a really good helm, but it doesn't end there. When you're in relaxed driving mode, they have put the throttle on the port side. So your left hand can just sit here and operate all the controls. See the windscreen wipers, how they're on separate buttons just here. So you could be rolling through a sea and just put your hand down here and have full control. Same thing with the throttles. That's our keypad control for the flat screens, and then same thing for the joystick. But we've got the multiple wing stations downstairs as well, and then we even have a 4th helm station on this boat because it's got an option up here on the Flybridge, which we'll have a look at in a second. Sunroof operation is done just here, and then just zoom out a little bit and I'll let you guys appreciate all of this. I've got the Humphrey active stabilization on the port side of the wheel. The wheel is adjustable. Engine operation just here, start, stop and ignition, searchlight, chain counter. We have a bow thruster on this one, and we've also got the VHF just there. That's the Volvo digital diagnostics display, which gives you the full readout from the motors, but we can also double that up on our big screens up here, which is what I was using today. We have a secondary C-zone screen just here, so we have the primary one downstairs, but we can operate it from up here too. That's the AC control, that's the music just there, and we've even got these neat covers for the screens which sit right in here and just magnetically attach. And then when you want to deploy them, boom, boom, they just sit there. So no mucking around trying to find places to put the covers anymore. So that's clever. Drink holder, place for your sunnies and your phones just in here. And this ledge will also be good for standing up phones if you're trying to read emails or text friends or something when you're underway. I'd never text and drive, I wouldn't do that. And you got your compass just here and facility or space for 3 big screen, flat screens just here. And pay attention to the darker coloured leather, which is all foam padded. That's going to stop any reflection coming back in your face. So that's all pretty good. Now we'll just have a look around here. Deep storage, huge deep storage, which would be great for extra safety gear, but also this internal bow sunshade throws in there and the other bits and pieces quite happily. I would even put duffel bags in there. It's so deep. Another immensely deep storage area just in here. Again, I think that's a sensible location for safety gear should you need. This lounge, I was utilizing this today when we were just cruising out, is a really good place to hang out and communicate with the helmsman or woman and navigator. And you've got beautiful views out over the water, and your aspect from the helm is increased when you slide this window open. So if you want to see out, let's actually do that, because a few of you are probably going to want to know what that looks like. So from here, you can see all of that. Hopefully that's... Okay, I'm going to close this because it is actually raining now. So that's all very cool. We've got blinds internally that drop down and another fridge full of beers. That's good to see. A couple of drink holders just here. A neat little design of storage area, which is good for remote controls. You could also stand up some coffee cups in there, and I wouldn't worry about spilling them because they're just going to be retained in there. I've got charging 240 just there. But this, see how this looks like just another L-shaped lounge? Well, it's actually not. This converts into another bed. So it's emergency overnight sleeping, but it's also another wonderful day bed area. So if you've enjoyed the day bed up on the bow, but you got too hot or you lost privacy, and then you went to the Alfresco day bed and again you got too hot, well, if you want to come and day bed it in the air conditioning, you just come up here. So that's all you need to do. More sensible design elements here, guys. So put your Monopoly games here. Use this as a seat when necessary, or a footrest, or flip it around. See this? And now it's a coffee table. Sensible. It's a great idea. You could have a YouTube channel just about sensible, cool little ideas like that, I reckon. I love it. TV just here. Storage on either side. On left and right side of the TV, just there. And then I think it's time to make our way off, but it's worth pointing out I can reach this grab handle. So that's the amount of headroom we got here. And just over this part of the boat is actually a huge big opening sunroof. So we've got it protected because the sun was a bit hot, but you can, oh, that's strong. I'll just do this. It's raining, so I'm not going to open it, but this whole thing opens up for fresh air if you want to. You have 2 side windows, sunroof at the top, totally doable. Well, wait till you see this. Huge, big, strong opening door. I'm actually going to open this up too. Just stay there so you guys can appreciate that. How good's this? Actually, let's push it up. That's the gas strut. Oh, okay, there we go. So this is the real estate I was talking about. You've now got a whole nother area out here. Look at this beautifully highly varnished table out here, which does fold away like the other one. So this is the best seat in the house. If you want to go watch the Sydney Harbour New Year's Eve fireworks, this is where you do it from. Have those stabilizers on 0 speed, sit up here, and then just look over everyone else and enjoy the view. This is the optional secondary helm up here on the Flybridge. So if you are a fisherman, we've got joystick, throttles, steering wheel, so just basic controls, but we've also got a plotter multifunction display here. We've got a bit of protection from the wind here with this, what do you call this stuff again?
That's plexiglass.
Plexiglass, yeah, yep. So that's good. That's easy to clean too. And another fridge. Actually, I think this one's a freezer. Quite deep, very, very well insulated. And then we are on Corian up the top here, drink holders in here, sink just up here, and storage for the covers, because we do have covers over these seats, fit well under here. We've also got a bin in here as well. And underneath these seats would be a good place for storing things if necessary, just to keep the decks clear. So just appreciate all this. You've got another grab handle up top, and I think this is, this space, let me know in the comments below if you agree, is what's going to be the game changer for many of you. If you have a big family, if you go boating with multiple families and there's lots of kids coming out, or if it's just adult groups and you need those multiple zones, if you want to be elevated and appreciate views like this, it's quite impressive. That's possibly where you're going to get a lot more value out of a style of boat like this. Obviously, if you're a fisherman, which I'm not, I order the fish, although I have started learning how to spearfish, you're going to appreciate this design as well. That's a given. But if you're into this functionality, real estate, and the sea-keeping ability that we've just experienced on this boat, you're going to get a huge amount of value. So I think that's it, guys. I think I've covered everything. If you get value out of this video, guys, if you get value out of this content, make sure you do us a favor and subscribe, like, share it with your mates, get on my Patreon and support that if you can. That's how you keep me independent, because nobody's influencing me and I'm not trying to influence anyone else. I literally just want you to take this content to educate yourself, hopefully answer a few questions, and if we haven't answered them all, just leave it in the comments and I'll try and get back to you when I can. But honestly, I really do appreciate you all, subscribing, liking, viewing, and all your feedback. It's super valuable. Let me know what you think about this boat, and if you want to see how she drives, we have just done that. So it's going to be a separate video. Come in here and we'll enjoy the air conditioning. I'll pop a link up on the screen somewhere right now. If you're interested, click on that link right now and join us for a really detailed test drive and see what you think, whether it's this one or perhaps going for the SUV model instead. You let me know. I look forward to the feedback. You're all legends. See you on the next one.